Hi, Scrappy friends. Welcome back. So, a couple weeks ago, I introduced you to a new series that I'm doing called Quick and Cute Layouts. And in that series, I take a Creative Memories collection and I use the paper and then minimal supplies like either stickers or embellishments, not usually both. And then I bring in just minimal amount of tools to create a layout that I think is quick to put together, but yet come out super cute. So if you love the quick and cute layouts, then this series that I'm going to introduce today is going to be for those times when you're ready to just add a little bit more style, a little bit more technique, and yes, of course, even more tools. I'm calling this series Playful and Polished, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take same collection I used in my quick and cute layouts and bring in the same collection, but this time focus more on what would be in a complete decorative bundle. So paper, stickers, embellishments, mat cards, layer borders, you name it. And of course, whatever tool comes out with that collection as well. So who's ready to add some style and structure to your scrapbooking? Let's jump in and get playful and polished. For this playful and polished layout, I am going to use the Sun Soak collection. And I've already been playing with this collection, so I do have some scraps I'm going to bring in, as well as a couple full sheets, this blue wave paper, orange sunburst paper, and also have a scrap here in case I need it. And I'm also going to bring in 2 pieces of canary cardstock and some dark green for some embellishing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a block style background. I'll take the canary cardstock, I'm going to cut it down to an 11-inch square, one for each side, and then I'm going to gut out the center here. You can also gut out the center of the white paper because it's going to cover it up. We'll only have about 1/4 of an inch exposed all the way around. So I went ahead and cut mine down to 11-inch squares, but I haven't gutted out the centers yet of either one, the yellow or the white, because I wanted to go ahead and kind of dry fit the next few pieces to my background so that you can see how they're going to be layered on here, and then you can decide if you want to gut or not gut, because gutting is going to save you some paper and it's also going to eliminate some of the weight of the page. This is going to have more layers on it, so the page is going to get a little bit heavy, which is not necessarily a problem, but if you're trying to reduce the amount of weight in your album, then you might want to gut, but maybe not after you see the next few cuts. So let's go ahead and bring in the next piece of paper, which is going to be this beautiful orange little, I call it sunburst. And this is not a directional piece, so I'm going to take this one piece and trim it up so I have a little bit on each side. The first thing I want to do is I want to get it down to a 10.5-inch piece. So I'm going to take off 1.5 inches. And then this is just scrap. And then from this piece, I'm just going to turn it and I'm going to trim off a 3-inch piece. So 3 by 10.5. This piece will come over here, and then I'm going to do just a 1/2 inch, and that's going to come over here, and this big piece will come right here. And these are going to be layered right in here. So my block is 11, these are 10.5 inches, so we should have a little bit of the canary poking through at the top and the bottom, and I'm scooting it in so all sides have a little bit of exposed yellow. Now I want to bring in this Monstera leaf pattern paper, and I only need a scrap for this because I'm only going to need a 3-inch strip. And then this piece I'm going to cut down to 11 inches, so I just have to take off 1 inch. And then this one's going to come right over here. Now this one's going to be running the full length of our block. And I want to have this 1/2 strip to the edge, this piece slightly overlapping it a little bit. So it's overlapping the 1/2 inch strip and then our 8.5-inch block over here. And it makes it look like I have a full sheet of paper. Next, I want to bring in the blue wave paper and I want to put it right over here. So I'm probably going to need, this was 3 inches, so I'm going to need about an 8.5 inch piece to go right over here. So I'm going to go trim this down. So I ended up cutting it to 8.5 by 10.5. So I think it's going to fit perfectly here inside my block. So my idea with the yellow canary was just to give it a little frame all the way around, but my real block is the pattern paper on the inside. I think I'm gonna put the orange on top, center it perfectly in the block. When I put this on here, I thought, oh, now I want to put a little bit of blue over here, but I don't have it in the big enough size in my scrap. So I'm going to go grab another piece of blue, or maybe even a scrap piece from a previous layout. So here we go. I had a perfect scrap. I cut it down to 6.5 inches wide by 7.5 inches tall. And I'm going to put this right over here. This is going to give me a great place to put some photos. There's my basic layout, and you can see how we elevated this up by using a block design at first and then adding multiple layers to it. Now let me go ahead and get all this adhered down. I'll bring in my photo placement cards and we'll get to photo placement, embellishing, titling, and journaling. Hold on. So the papers are all adhered down. This one here I wanted to mention, I brought it down about not quite 2.5 inches. It's more like 2 3/8 inches down from the top, but somewhere right around there. I kind of tried to center it, and that's about where the placement ended up. So I wanted to mention that. Now for my photos, what I originally had in mind is 2 vertical photos right over here would fit really nicely. And then on this side, I would put a full-size photo here. So here, these are 2 6x4 photos. And then down here is another 6x4 photos. And then I would put maybe 2 4x4 photos. So that was my original thought. When I went to pull the photos that I'm going to put on here, I kind of had a little bit different idea because I have all horizontal photos. So I'm going to document some sunset photos from a trip we took to Hawaii back in 1996. And I think I love this one the most. I want that one right there. This one I could cut down to a 4x4. And then these are, I think, different days, but just some snapshots that we took of some different sunsets. So I like that. Let's see if I have one more I could maybe bring up here. I have a couple different photos. I like this one actually. If I can cut a piece of that. Yeah, I'll cut this one into a 4x4 also. So I'm going to have 2 4x4s up here and the horizontal, like the page I wanted to design. Now over here, I'm just going to move them around slightly. So instead of having 2 verticals, I'm going to do 2 horizontals. This one I'll fit in the block like that, and this one I'll probably drop down to the bottom. I'm going to bring in this light orange tonal dot paper. I have some scraps left, and I think I'm going to use it for matting. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's a little small, so I might trim that photo down. And I think I have room on both those photos to trim that down. And then I want to bring a piece in over here as well. I feel like this one's getting a little washed out with that orange, so maybe I'll bring in a piece of the yellow that I gutted from behind there and mat it like this. I also have a mat card I was planning to bring in, so maybe I'll do it like this and then the orange behind like that. Yeah, I like that much better. I think that's going to look a lot nicer. Okay, let me trim down my photos and get them matted, and we'll be back. There we go. Everything is trimmed down and matted. I haven't adhered them yet to the final place on the layout because I wanted to make sure once I get my more embellishing in place here. I went ahead and matted these 2 photos here. I wasn't originally planning on doing that, but I thought because these are kind of darker photos, and when I put them up onto the dark blue wave paper, I felt like they were just getting sucked into that paper. So I just used the piece that I gutted from the canary block here. For my title, I'm going to bring in this sticker here, and it says, "Find me where the palms sway." I think that's super cute, and I'm going to put it right up here somewhere, maybe tucked under the photo. This journal card came in the embellishment pack, and I think that's super cute. I love all of those Monstera leaves coming out around it. Matches our paper here perfectly. And I think I'm going to put it off to the side of this photo here. If you had your two vertical photos, I would still bring it down here, and I would just maybe put it down going the other direction. But I have plenty of room right here, so I'll go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and jump right into embellishing. So I do want to kind of bring out my title area a little bit. So I have this journaling card from the embellishment pack also. I think I'm gonna bring it right up here and tuck it under the photos. I love all the tropical leaves. Oh, look at that. And then I'll put this right here on top. Oh, I think that's gonna look nice. I can come over that photo a little there because it doesn't take away from it at all. There we go. There's also a matte card in this collection that has the same design, and if I already have used this, I would then cut that matte card out. So we have lots of options up here, or anything under that you want to put under there. I just thought it would help kind of give me some more interest up here, and then I'll probably put this up onto some foam tape. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I like that a lot. I want to bring in some more leaves. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe tuck it under here. There we go. Let's move to over here to where our journaling box is. We'll come back up here and maybe add a little finishing touch at the end. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit and kind of bring my journaling box into my block area instead of having it hang over. I think I like that better. Now I'm going to bring in something a little different, and I know this is not common in our scrapbooking pages, but my daughter made these cute, adorable wax stamps here. I just thought they were perfect for this layout. And we did some research on the wax, and what we found out is they say that it's acid free and photo safe, but we couldn't find any like 100% guarantee on that. So I'm going to put it down here on my journaling area, but I'm not going to have it close to my photo at all. So I'm just going to, I have two of them here, and let's see, I'm actually going to put the yellow one up closer like that, and then maybe the green one I can overlap a little bit. I'm going to probably have to put this onto some foam. There we go, that fits much nicer. And then this one I will glue down with a little bit of with a little glue dot, maybe like that. There we go. Yeah, I like that. And I think that the colors that she made match perfectly, and I'm going to give it a shot. But I know if the wax stamps are not your thing, then obviously don't add those. But remember, these are our playful and polished layouts. We want to do something a little extra that we don't normally do. So I like that. Now, I did some prep when I started my layouts for this collection, and I made a bunch of little sea turtles in different shades of green. And so I did this one with the sea turtle punch, and I'm going to add one of these little guys, probably coming out right here. There. And this collection came with some great circle embellishments, and they have different themes. I think there were actually 4, but I used them on other layouts. So since I have some circle elements, and I always love to add circles because I feel like it does add movement to my page, I'm just going to take these 3 and then line them up here at the top. So it's going to kind of extend this embellishment cluster, and I'm just trying to add a lot of tropical flair to this page. When I was prepping before, I also used my Monstera leaf border punch and punched out several of the Monstera leaves in dark green and avocado, and I just sprinkled them throughout the different layouts. I really highly recommend that, just taking one border punch, cutting it up, and using it throughout the layouts. And I think I'm going to put this one right up here, tucked under, something like that. There we go. I just had them overlapping, and it's going to be just kind of playful and fun up there. This page is looking really good. Let's move over to this page here and get some embellishing on here. I want to do something a little bit different down here. So let me scoot my boards over. What I want to do now is bring in my Leafy vine punch. I'm going to punch out one row. Then what I want to do with my Leafy vine punch out is I want to come over here and make it look like I have some seaweed going up floating up to the top. So I'm going to trim it with my fine tip scissors and just do like one long one, trim it again, have a shorter one, and then this one, I'm just going to clean it up a little bit and have this one coming off to the other side and have it just kind of down here and make it look like a little bit of seaweed coming up there. And now I have them all kind of bunched up here at the bottom. So to cover that little area up, I'll bring in this little seashell and put it right here. And I'll probably put that up onto some foam tape. There we go. Cover all that up. Maybe tuck it over a little more. There we go. Very cute. Just gives us another use for our punches. Leafy vine turned into seaweed right there. Perfect. But let's add a couple little fish to our seaweed to make it look even more real. So I have a couple of the fish from the embellishment pack. I'll probably put one like that and maybe one like this. And we don't want to forget our little sea turtle that we punched out, so I'll add him in there too. There we go. So make a little ocean scene right here. Very good for any kind of tropical photos. I think I want to try and get one more area of embellishing on here. But before I do that, I want to ask you, if you are enjoying this playful and polished layout, please let me know by clicking that like button. I really would appreciate it, and thank you for doing it. Now let's get on to our last piece of embellishing. And I'm going to come right up here. I am going to bring in another beautiful journaling box that came in the embellishment kit. The embellishments had a lot of smaller journaling areas, but they can also be used as cluster bases, right? We don't have to journal on all of them. And I kind of want to bring it up here behind this photo because I have a lot of turquoise going on, and I kind of want to carry that up here and give it more of a lighter feel up here also with my darker photos. So it's going to come like that around and bring in a couple little stickers from the sticker sheet. And I decided on this one, So Much to See. It matches my paper. Probably bring that right up here, maybe tuck it under like that. So Much to See. And then I have a cute little fish and a starfish. Let's start with the starfish. Put it like that, and then put the other fish. I'm going to pop this little guy up on a foam square and then put it right over here. Let's see. Let's move this around a little bit. Move our starfish up so we can see it, and then maybe have the fish overlapping just like that. I really kicked this one up a lot. Dumped on a lot of embellishments on here. I am going to now add a few little finishing touches. And for that, I'm going to bring in the beautiful tropical leaf enamel pieces that came with this collection. And I'm just going to sprinkle some around in the different areas. Okay, let's take this one here and maybe tuck it right over here. Yeah, put it there. And then let's add one up here. We'll tuck it in maybe right over here behind these leaves. There we go. And then down here, maybe a pointy one. Let's bring in some of that blue. There we go. I like how that came out. And I think that's good. On this page over here, I'm going to bring in a little bit of the bubbles. Now this is just a little scrap I had left from the bubble borders that came in this. And I think I'm going to put this right over here next to my little seaweed area. It looks like some bubbles floating up to the top. And there we go. That is my finished layout in my Playful and Polished series using the Sun Soaked collection. I brought in some great paper layers, a great use of a tool that we already have in our stash, a whole lot of embellishing. I hope that you enjoyed that, and come back in a couple days. I'm going to have a complete layout share to show you both my quick and cute and my playful and polished layouts for the Sun Soaked collection. And then look for a blog post to see how you can jump in on the Sun Soaked adventure. So stay tuned and I'll be back. But until then, maybe watch some of my other videos. Here's the playlist for my quick and cute, and then another one that YouTube suggested for you. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.